think we might be live. We'll see. We'll see if it comes up on my phone. Double check. I'm a little bit early, but I got everything ready and I was like, well, let's go live. Because I do have a hard stop around 7:45. We're on. And so I thought we'll just start and see what happens. So thank you all so much for joining. I'm so happy to be spending this time with you wherever, whenever you are in the world. And if you didn't see Monday's video, which like nobody saw, so it's fine. We can get started. The goal is just to have fun crafting. All we're doing today, just wanted to have a space to craft. And one of the things we did on Monday was I let everybody know I'm trying to relearn to draw. And so having like a random challenge helps me like get inspired and try different styles. So I showed this one, which I did over the summer, and I pulled ancient Egyptian and focus, and I was like, oh, like a bird, a falcon, very focused. So that's kind of how this page came about. But we're working on this page because Monday I pulled contemporary and adventure. And it took me a couple minutes to kind of start to have an idea, but I knew I wanted to do a very linear black and white drawing type of design. And I wanted a compass. So I went ahead and drew the compass last night. Then I wanted north, south, east, and west. And I'm like pretty sure the east and west are correct, but like a little bit worried. I always get a little bit worried with that. I tried a couple different alphabets that I have in my stash, and I just couldn't find one that was the right style with the right size. So I used my Cricut and cut out these letters. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm thinking that the easiest way to do this is to actually use the negative and trace inside there. So for the S, I added a little bit of mark on kind of where I'm thinking. Of course, I did that. I think it's on the top side. So maybe like around there. Let's do this first one with pencil. Just make sure. The inside so much easier than the outside. Plus, I think I'm going to get the better sizing. If I go outside the letters, it's making the letters bigger, thicker. I love that. That's amazing. Okay, I'm on board. I have been using the 0.3 for most of the marks, but I think I'm gonna go, actually I think the 0.3 is gonna work. So let's start here, get it lined up, and here we go. Since they're so small, I'm just gonna color it in while I've got my finger there, because I think I'm gonna have less mistakes. Oh, that looks so cool. I could have like drafted these with my own handwriting, which would have been cool, but since it's kind of contemporary, I feel like the actual text, the typeface really helps. So that's why I went ahead and just had the Cricut cut out some letters. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. I really like that. Okay, I'm good with the S. I'm gonna pull this down just a little bit. Think we'll do the W next, and I put it kind of at the top middle. So around here, and actually I'm gonna draw it in with the pencil and just check, because we can erase a pencil, we cannot erase the pigment pen. So we'll just draw around this. My plan for the rest of the picture is to start adding like adventure-y stuff in. I don't know. I have the idea of maybe like a lantern would be fun, and like mountains and just cool adventure-y stuff. Okay. I feel good with that kind of being centered and level. So we're going to put this back where we had it. That's pretty close. And just start drawing in. I was a little bit worried about this. And I didn't have the idea of actually drawing in the negative until I cut it out, and I was looking and I was like, oh, just do the negative. That's so much more controllable. I was really nervous that I was gonna draw around the letter and it was just gonna look awful because the letter would shift and I couldn't quite get everything right, because you can see the end had some issues as I was taking it off the mat. Thankfully, we got it. There we go. And draw up. I think that's just going to be a real thin line. And holding it down tightly. My plan, once I get all of the drawing in, is to use a little bit of watercolor and just do a very light, kind of free-flowing watercolor on top, just to give it a little bit of color. I think it'll still stay in the contemporary zone, but give it a little bit more oomph than just the straight lines. I'll probably take a picture of it before, just in case. Yep, I did figure out the letters. It took me a bit, but I got there. And there we go. That looks so good. I'm so glad that I did not write the letters. I didn't go with my other options. One of my other options is a new stamp set that I got. And this one's all in Create. And I thought these were really pretty, but they were just too big for the overall scale. And the other ones were too small. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep double checking with the pencil, because I think that really helps. I feel like that's good. So go ahead, put that there. And I think good. There we go. And while we're here, I can do the E as well. Just double check it's in the right place. Perfect. There we go. Okay. It takes me a second. I can't talk and draw quite that well at the same time, but we're making it. We're making it. And I could always save these. I could throw them away. We will see. I did cut it out of colored paper though, so I'd be able to easily check. Oh, it's looking so good. I'm so excited. Okay. Maybe I should look at it. I just don't see, maybe the E could be slightly tilted down, but the N looks great. Let's start there. Get that in place. Perfect. Awesome. Oh, well, at least it's Wednesday. I was very excited when I realized that earlier, that halfway through the week, well, over halfway for those of us who work 9 to 5 corporate jobs. Now that the day is over, it has been very cold though here. Been a bit of an adjustment. I do like it being a little bit cooler, but also do get a little chilly. Perfect. I guess we can just go ahead and do the E. I do think I'm going to tilt it. We get it perfectly in there, and then I'm going to tilt it a hair down. Okay. I think we should be good there. Probably the right answer would have been to erase it and double check it, but I'm too excited for that, man. We're just going to keep going. And if you have any ideas for any other fun adventure type things that I could put on here, let me know. Thinking lanterns and mountains. That's what I've got so far. Maybe a forest or something might be cool. Let's see. There we go. And last little bit. So easy. Oh, awesome. And I'll give that a few minutes to dry, but once I do, I can just erase anything around it. And I do have 2 additional circles around. I think I'm going to have some of the design going through the circles and then like a little bit of the circles having lines there. It's kind of what I'm thinking. But I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes because while it's looking great and can come back to that, I do want to let that ink dry just a little bit before we keep working on it. So maybe we'll bring out this card. After Monday's live, we created this background and it didn't really go with what I was planning to put it with, but it did go with this other, I think it's coffee, but then I put it on top of this skull and gray, and I'm like, that looks like an alcoholic drink, which is fine. But I'm thinking we need some kind of like background here. Maybe even more so looks like alcohol. I think we'll paint a little bit, and I've got some Distress Vintage Photo and White Pearl Modeling Paste. I thought we could mix them together and do a bit of a background. I don't really have a sentiment I guess I should have pulled that. Here we go. Sorry, it took me a second. We can go ahead and squirt some of this down. Kind of there. So we don't actually need that much. I'm gonna go with like 3 drops. And this still looks good, so I think, nope, it's not. It is hard. Okay, that can be thrown away. And this one's the same stuff. It's a little bit thick, but we'll try it. It's what you get for not crafting for a while. Go ahead, there we go. This lid has found my weak spot. Okay. Get that nice and mixed up. Ooh, I'm liking that color. I might need to add a little bit more brown. I think the brown might add something. Might be just a tiny bit too light. Let's add 1 more drop. So I am, oh, that was like 2 drops, but it's fine. There we go. I do like the pearl aspect. I feel like it gives it a nice luster. There we go. And perfect. Ooh. What do you think? Maybe this way? Does that look any good? Just did all that work. Let's see if it looks any good. I think it looks cute. Maybe. It does kind of give it a place to stand. I guess I like that. I don't want to put any more on there. I feel like it already kind of covers up enough. So I'll put that to the side to dry. And what do you think? Some brown on blue, see what it does? Okay, that's something. Probably use that for a card, but I still got a little bit more. Me. Have something else. I got this whole box of just like halfway in progress items. Just grab something out of the bag. Ooh. I like this one. Map of Bayside. 3rd Ward, Borough of Queens. I think this is like a Tim Holtz item, so let's it added something. I don't know if it made it better or worse, but it did something. And we used up the rest of it. Once it dries, I'll put it back in the box. Let me grab we go. After this, I'm going over to my sister's house and we're gonna watch, oh, what is it called? Survivor. I've got to see if I've voted. I think I need a vote. Oh my goodness, I'll have to do that in a few minutes because I have not been doing well. I got up to like 4th in the league. I was doing pretty good. My guy's still in. We're doing like a fantasy league and you get like to pick 2 people on your team, and one of my guys went home. He was actually doing really well and then he went home, and the other guy is still in. Aussie, go team Aussie. And so I need to vote so that I can hopefully get points. Last time I was like, I think coach is going to get out, and then I was like, maybe not this time, so I'll move my points, and that was absolutely a mistake because he got out, and it was very sad that I had almost picked him and I didn't. Let's throw these 2 things away, and I think we're good. Okay. Now, one of the other things I worked on was I started these 2 cards, and I've made a little bit of progress. So it was this whole paper that had these 2 fish guys with the green background, and I cut out the bottom of this fish and the top of this fish and created this background for this guy. Then I thought, oh, well, there's red. Let me add red and for this guy, and that just looks like a bloody nightmare. So I'm not going to use that, but I did then recreate this one, and I think that looks good. I don't know, maybe this way, the slightly less busy way. I did also fussy cut out the sardines in tomato sauce. I don't know why that is so funny to me, but I think that's just so cute. And I don't have any paper that's 14 inches long, so be long enough to make the card base. So I just cut out 7.5 inches long and folded on this edge, so when we're ready we can just glue that like that, and then it's a perfect card base. So we've got that. Let me set these to the side for just a second. And I'm thinking this card will look something like this. I grabbed these dies out as potentially something we could cut the sentiment out, and I'm thinking for the sentiment to use this hello, because I thought it was very same vibey as kind of the sardines and such. So maybe we could do the hello out of the small one and do a layer and then have it coming like from one side. Might work. Maybe. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it out though. Hello. And put it back in so I don't lose everything or mess everything up. Then the inside on here, I've got this cute like ticket stamp where it says you are amazing, fabulous, my favorite, and you can kind of do a check mark by it. I thought for the inside of the card that would be something really cute, kind of like here, and then there's plenty of space to write a message, but you don't have to feel like you have to fill up the whole 5x7 card base. So that's what I'm thinking there. And finally, grabbed out some ink, I think for the card base. is we'll ink it up, and then maybe I did get out some paint in case we needed paint. And oh, I was thinking maybe putting some like green X's along the back. So we've got a lot going on right now. I'm thinking, let's stamp this guy out. And kind of feeling red, bold. Or I think this green is like a perfect green. So we could do like paint this paper green, let it dry, and then maybe do like some white embossing on top. But the white, is that going to be too stark? Options. Okay. I think what we'll do is we can do 2 red hellos. Now we can paint down here the green, and we can make a decision later because, hey, who knows what you want to do? Why be limited? We'll just have some extra hellos that I can throw in my box of stuff I have not used. Let's see. Go here. Hello. And we might have to color that in a little bit with some Copic marker. Just deepen up that color a little bit. I probably should have used my stamping tool so I could have stamped it like an extra time or two, but oh well. We'll keep going. Maybe that'll make a decision for us. Maybe we can stamp it a second time. Maybe I'm going crazy and that's impossible to do again. Yeah, I think it might be impossible. If I do it again, I will mess that up. So actually, why don't we just do a second one right here, a third one. Problem solving, baby. Problem solving. Oh, my goodness. Getting close to when I'm going to have to go. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've done nothing. And it's gone by so fast. I don't know what happened because I was like so uninspired to do any crafting for such a long time. And then as soon as I get back in the craft room and do a couple stupid like mistakey things, then things start going well and I'm like, oh, I love this. Why did I stop? Let's see. Okay. Then we will just put some of this, and this is the Dina Wakley acrylic evergreen. Felt like it was a really close color match to this green. So close that I didn't really want to add any other colors. It wasn't 100% perfect, but like hard to get much closer. Here we go. Oh, look at that. What a color. Okay. There we go. Put way too much paint down. Okay. Perfect. got some nice green on there. That is looking stellar. What a beautiful green. What a happy, happy color. Now, even if we don't use it for doing the white on top, we could definitely use it as like a layer or something. So that's an option. I also am using the back of this paper that I messed up the other day. Let's go there. And I'm going to set that aside to dry. No. Okay. We didn't get paint everywhere. All that matters. There. Okay. Clean that up. And we've got just a tiny bit of time. So I'm thinking, I was planning to do the green, but I just think somehow putting the green on top of, as part of our layers for the sentiment is a better choice. So I'm thinking about using just some of these X's. I felt like we needed to define the edge just a little bit, just add a little bit of paint here, something like that. And I felt like these X's were a nice complement. So we'll go ahead and use this Candied Apple Distress Paint. And I'm going to use, instead of using a brush, I'm just going to go ahead and use like dab right here. Single drop. We just don't need a ton. There we go. Shift it that way. I think there. And if I need to add more red later, I definitely can. I can come back and add some. But I think this will be good to get us started. See if kind of works. Yeah, not too intense, which I like. Adding a little bit. Thinking maybe one more X up there will kind of balance us out. Like that. There we go. I think that looks really cute. And I like how it kind of goes off into nothing. And then maybe we can have the sentiment like down here coming out this side. So I'm liking this one. And this one we need to make a decision on which side is the top. So that's slightly less busy. This is slightly more busy. I'm kind of leaning less busy because we're going to add this red. So let's do that. And kind of feeling like this way. Add some nice cross-directional interest. Yeah, I just made that up. I'm cool. I'm fancy. And just dab that on. I hope these, whoever gets these just appreciates the fun of these cards. They are just not cards you get every day. I think they're just happy, happy cards. And that was what I was going for. Okay. Oh, I think that's good. Do we need to add anything additional? Kind of thinking similar to what we did on this one. We're adding just one more down there makes sense. Maybe a medium one kind of coming part way in. Yeah. I think that kind of balances us. And I'm thinking similarly, maybe something there would kind of balance out the sardines. Or maybe we could even do it like over the sardines. I don't know. We'll get it all cut out and do that then. So I'll let those dry. I think the other thing I need to do is the one thing I haven't gotten to is my journal. I didn't add anything to that today, but maybe I'll come back and do that after the video, after we go watch Survivor. And I had such a great time with y'all. If you joined today or if you joined tomorrow or any day, thanks so much for letting me into your home, spending this time with me, and I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful, crafty, awesome day.